What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'll break down what's happening with the economic calendar thus far, what's going on with the overall markets, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin the doubles information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks, and all friends in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to the market. So I do see an issue with SPY right here. This thing came all the way down to this 512.5 area, at least yesterday. Then we saw an attempt to rebound during the pre-market, and then once we got these unemployment numbers, the market hasn't really kind of pumped as much. It's actually coming down a little bit, and it's really struggling to break this resistance near this 515 area. This is a concern because we didn't really get much of a big bounce. We'll have to see if SPY can attempt to do so later, but we're still seeing weakness on the chart from what I'm seeing so far, and this is not the best of signs. So I'm going to break down a couple of pieces of data, then break down what's happening with the headlines. Then I'm going to talk about what's happening with the charts. So first and foremost, we had non-farm payrolls. These were above expectations at 303,000. That's showing strength in the labor market. Same thing with the unemployment rate. This was at 3.8%. This is below what we got last time. The unemployment rate is dropping again, guys, so it's not the best of news. And then we also have manufacturing payrolls above expectations. Same thing with government payrolls. Things are looking kind of strong right here. But the labor force participation rates also going up a little bit. So we're seeing strength in the labor market. The issue with this is right now, for people out there, when there's strength in the labor market, that incentivizes, potentially more inflation, and the Fed is going to be very, very careful with this. But simultaneously, it also fuels the soft landing narrative, so it kind of goes both ways, kind of being kind of like mixed, if anything. So I would say to be very careful with this because the Fed was saying they're going to carefully monitor the labor market and everything like that. And if you keep getting numbers like this showing a lot of strength, and this is all like accompanied by crude oil prices going up, gas prices increasing, and manufacturing prices going up. It's not the best of news, to be honest with everyone. So later on, what else is going to affect the market more is going to be all these Fed speakers. We have Barkin giving a speech, which is about to start at 9:15 a.m. We have Bowman giving a speech around noon, and we have more Fed speakers as the day goes on. So this could be a little negative for the market. We'll have to see what the Fed speakers say this time around. For news involving the markets for Thursday, we saw this very big change. The reason for that is because looking at how things are looking on Thursday, we ended up seeing this big fear that was being driven by the Fed. We had Kashkari who came out and said that he's open to the possibility of the Fed not really cutting this year, and other things like that, which caused the market to sink quite a bit. With the labor market, we just had the numbers come out, and the things were still showing strength in the labor market. The labor market is still strong. The market ultimately is still kind of struggling at this resistance, still stuck in this range for now. But you want to be careful since we haven't been able to break 515 yet. So we're going to be watching this key resistance. For Janet Yellen, she was traveling to China. So this is her right over here in China. But basically, she started her first full day of meetings over there by encouraging the country to pursue market-oriented reforms and discussing overcapacity concerns as well. So it's very important. New news that came out from her. Ford said on Thursday it's going to delay production for the all-new EV SUVs and pickups. This is another delay that has happened, and this is the third row SUV being pushed to 2027. It used to be said to be produced in 2025. So another delay is happening in the EV market. This is affecting a lot of EVs out there. So that's something worth noting. What do I see on the chart for SPY? Honestly, guys, we have 515 as resistance, 516.5 above that. If we broke 516.5, we could easily push to about 518. So that's where our EMA is kind of aligned. And simultaneously, if we end up continuing to drop, you're going to be looking at support right here at 513 flat. And if we lose that, there's 512.5, followed by 510, and then 508 as key supports. SPY is looking a little bit weak, guys. I want to be honest with you. It's really struggling to break 515 so far. We need to break this and try to push up higher before we continue. To me, it looks like this chart is either going to pop a little bit and then start sinking down, or it could just continue to drop lower from here as we're seeing weakness on the chart, in my opinion. The chart is still showing weakness, not looking the best. It is favoring bears somewhat more, especially as we have this big red bar that formed. So I'm seeing weakness in the charts. Could we pop first and then drop, or just drop from here? As of right now, it's dropping. It's really struggling to break 515. If we break above 515, that would change my view. But as of right now, we haven't done so. And the pre-market's showing some weakness. Same thing on the QQQ. We have 438 as resistance, 436 as support. If we lose that, look for a bigger dip to 434, eventually 432, and then lower levels like 429. In my opinion, the QQQ is looking kind of weak right now as well. It was trying to break past 438, and if anything, it kind of like struggled to do so. So it's not the best of news. With that happening, I think it's very important to note that there's a big rejection potentially coming here. If we lose 436, we're going to be sinking all the way down towards 434 in lower levels. We are kind of struggling to break the resistance, so it's starting to turn a bit, looking a little bit more weak. It's not the best of news for the QQQ. We had this big red bar just like we had on SPY, and still affecting us. That's a bearish engulfing candle. So with that happening, this is another bearish signal. Now for Tesla, Tesla's barely holding 170, kind of looking weak right now. Because we just lost 170.5 and 170, there could be a move down to 167.8 coming. We could see Tesla sink a bit more. If we lose the support, a bigger drop could be coming to 165 and then these lower levels. Watch resistance at 170.5 and 172. As of right now, I'm seeing some weakness on Tesla, and this thing could continue to fall, especially as we have these gaps to fill, not to mention lower levels potentially coming. So I'm seeing some weakness on Tesla. On Nvda, we're actually showing some strength on Nvda, trying to push up for about 870 to 872. We also have resistance at 874. So we have some resistance levels coming up. Watch and see if we're forming a flag. Could pop and then drop, or drop from here depending on the test around 872 to 874. So watch resistance all the way up there. Could push a bit more, could push a little bit more first before we end up coming down. So watch for that very carefully. Aapl has been pushing. It hit 170, now it's starting to reject a bit. If we keep falling, watch 169 as key support. If we lose that, a bigger drop is coming. But as of right now, that's all I'm seeing for the time being. So we're seeing some weakness on the chart. We're starting to see this perpetuate throughout the market. So I want to be very, very careful when it comes to the way we trade with this, and just know that the weakness is still perpetuating as time goes on. If SPY loses, if SPY loses 512.5, a much bigger drop is coming. So watch for that. With that being said, guys, I just want to thank you all for listening. I want to kind of keep the video quick. I am running out of time today. I was very late this morning, so I'm very sorry about that. But with that being said, we're seeing more weakness throughout the markets. The VIX is continuing to hold up very well. If it keeps breaking out, this would be another bearish signal. So just be careful. The market is continuing to look weak. We have to break our resistance, try to get a rebound. So far, we haven't been able to do so. And it is looking like the market's contracting. So I just want to warn you to be very, very careful. All right. So please have a great day. Remember that when you're day trading, you want to be very, very patient with the market. Let's see where it tries to base at. And if we lose the low we made from yesterday, 512.5 on SPY, a much bigger drop is going to come, as the bearish engulfing candle is going to lead to more downside. So I did talk about how we might get a pop and drop in my video from yesterday. We did pop a little bit on SPY this morning, but get ready for even more potential volatility, and we'll see what the Fed speakers say for today, which causes more moves. All right, guys, so see you soon. Thank you for listening, and peace out.